Hi everyone, this is session 2 of Unit 34 Website Design Strategy, and we're going to take a look at some ideas to help you complete P2. As you can see at the bottom or in the middle, you'll see how long this lecture will last. Make sure your volume is on. I recommend you use headphones as well so you're not distracted by any noise around you, and you can hit the pause button at any point to take some notes, or you can obviously rewind as well if you miss something you don't understand. Final picture there you'll see is a mobile phone. Guys, we're off for months and months now. We're not going to be in college for a while. You could at least use these times, these lectures are going to last 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes. Put your phones away. You're just going to be distracted. You know what you're like in class, so you're with your phones 24/7 now. I asked for 10-15 minutes for that phone to go away and you just focus on the lesson. That way you'll deliver a much better assignment. It'll be easier for you, easier for me to mark, and you'll get a better grade. So put those mobile phones away. Thank you. So yes, to achieve P2, you've simply got to create a table and talk about the usability features of 3 websites. You've already done P1 and contrasted those 3 websites, hopefully using the IDA model. Now we're going to look at navigation, language, accuracy, efficiency, speed of response, privacy, and a little bit about design and accessibility. You can see as well that there is an essay plan P2 on Moodle, and just click on that and there's already a table set up for you. So you just need to apply that table to 3 different websites and then upload on where it says upload P2 here when you've finished. Obviously those dates, the 16th of March, everyone's behind now, so we need to push on and get this done. So what we're looking to do with these 3 websites really is analyze the websites in terms of their usability. And what that means is, when a visitor comes to your website, what kind of experience they have. Obviously how they use your website, you want it to be the best experience, because you either want them to activate the CTA, as we know now as call to action, or it might be one of those websites like an informational website where they really enjoy spending time here and they want to come back for more, and so you have return visitors. That's a very important logistic or statistic for websites as well, return visitors. So it all comes down to good usability, and some of the fundamental areas of good usability, of course, is navigation, how easy it is to find your way around. It's very similar to the principles of building architecture. In fact, they call it website architecture. If you walk into a building, a well-designed building will be easy to use. You'll know where to find things easily. There'll be signposts here and lifts taking you there. So it's the same principle with a website. It should be very easy to find your way around. There's often a term in design called intuitive. What that means is that you don't need instruction so much, but you naturally know where to go. And that's really the ultimate goal in website design, to have an intuitive navigation system. Of course, any information that you're putting on there needs to be clear, relevant and useful, because if you're getting the right information, then that's good use. All links should work, shouldn't be any broken links, and take the user to the intended place. Last session we talked a bit about CTAs, call to actions, and really that's what usability is about. People are able to use the website to achieve the action that they need. Could be a buy, it could be a sign up, that kind of thing. And people want to see good images. The images need to have clear purpose, and with images they need to have what's known as good web load speed, and we'll talk more about that later. So if the usability of a website is good, you're talking about retaining your customers. They enjoy using your website, they'll come back for more. And when we start to learn about Google search engine and something called AdWords and things like that, there's a cost to attracting people to your website. It's quite a large cost sometimes. So the idea is that you want to make sure that people do come to your website, and you spend that money on search engine marketing. You want to make sure that their experience is perfect, so they keep coming back for more. because when they come back the second time, it hasn't cost you any money to bring them back the second time. The first time it has maybe, but second, third, fourth, it's all free. So usability plays a big role. Now, what affects usability? The key one is, of course, navigation. So this is the pathway people take to navigate through your site. As I mentioned earlier, ultimately, it's all about reaching that CTA. And so we want to ask the question when analysing our free websites, what helps us find things on a website? Obviously, one of the first things that you'll see on websites right at the top is the search box. As you can see here on JD Sports website, there is a search box at the top there, and you could type in whatever, t-shirts, trainers, football boots, and it will take you directly to those pages that have that particular thing you search for. So we often think about search engines like Google and MSN and Bing, but actually a lot of websites have their own search engines built in, especially if they're big catalog e-commerce sites like JD Sports is. Another crucial thing is the menu. I don't think I've never really seen a website that doesn't have a menu at the top. It seems to be very standard practice. But what you'll see with menus now is each menu item, as you can see here, latest men, women, kids. When you click on one of those, it will drop down to a more detailed menu. You'll see in brackets floating. This refers to some websites that have the menu floating. What that means is when you start to scroll down, we talked about this as well in session 1, above the fold, below the fold, that kind of thing. When you start to scroll down, the menu follows you, it's floating. These can be quite effective, but not all websites use them. Now, another crucial aspect is when you click on a CTA, a link, you go somewhere from the home page, sometimes you want to be able to find your way back, and this is where breadcrumbs come in. You'll see it here. It tells you where you've come from, and so it's much easier to return back to where you were earlier, and that can be quite crucial sometimes, especially in e-commerce platforms where people are trying to build up the information they need in order to make that buying decision. So they don't want to click somewhere and go off and find some more information. Okay, I just want to check that, and then not remember how to get back to where they were. That will frustrate them. They'll leave, and and they won't get to the main CTA, which is in this case buy. Another important aspect of navigation is having clear CTAs. We talked about this in session 1. That's why often for charity sites, they always have a donation button right at the top, and maybe even in the middle, and that button may even float around and stay with you no matter where you go. So having clear call to actions will obviously make navigation a lot easier. Sidebars, you can see here, less common than they used to be, but you'll still find them a lot of websites that you'll see, whichever page you're on, there's a sidebar to help you move to wherever you need to move. And of course, most websites will have footers at the bottom, or it's kind of a bottom index, very useful, especially when you're looking for things like contact details, frequently asked questions, delivery details and instructions. These are very, very useful, and all websites should have them. You see there. Fonts and colors play a big part in navigation. You've got to have sometimes a contrast, especially with your CTA buttons. In website design, we talk about white space. We don't want an overly crowded website, a busy website. You want a website where there's white space, there's gaps between things. That means that when you've got the right colors, it can help draw the line of attention of the visitor to that area of the website, and that helps them find stuff as well. And more importantly, what you want them to find is stuff that you're giving them as a website designer. So if you want them to read an important review about your product, then the colors are important, the font sizes are important, the headlines, as we talked about last week, are important to draw their attention. So another area of usability is language. Websites are obviously accessible to anyone in the world. So websites also can be translated now very easily. Google offer that function where it will translate a website for you. If you've got a website that's written in English and Google will auto translate, it will only do its best using the Google Translate feature. Large companies with large budgets actually have all their websites translated properly. So big companies will have a German website made, a French, a Spanish website, but small companies will just have to rely on the Google Translate feature. But anyway, this isn't what the focus is here. Language is important because language helps people convinces people to do something. So a well-written website is very important. So plain, clear English is important. You don't want to confuse people. You want to be able to appeal to the masses. Spelling and grammar are very, very important. If you see a website with a lot of spelling mistakes or poor grammar, then you think it might be a dodgy website and you won't trust it, and then you won't hit that CTA. Concise, direct language. We now know that the human attention span has dropped, so we need, people don't want to mess about, they want that information now. So concise, direct language is important, though blogs can be slightly different. Blogs, they're written in the writer style, so that writer might have a style where they're a little bit more flowery with their language. They've got different targets really, but a website that is trying to sell a product or service or deliver some information, concise, direct language is always a plus. Now, another important thing is usability. In terms of usability, is efficiency. This refers to speed. People want information quickly. They're not prepared to wait for slow page loads, and this, of course, can lead to them abandoning the site. If the page doesn't load quick enough, then they won't wait. Now, it's not such an issue now with new fibre optic cabling that's been installed in most areas of England. That means people have much larger bandwidths and they can download things quicker. But before this improvement, this was a much bigger issue. But it's still an issue today. If you've got a lot of big images on your home page, then it will slow the page load speed down. And as you can see from this graph, you can see that there's something called page abandonment that increases with percentage. So the bottom axis, we're talking seconds there, 2 seconds, you see that amount of page abandonment. When you get to 4 seconds above, it goes above 25% of people will abandon the page if they've got to wait for more than 4 seconds. Crazy, I know, but that's how it is. Now, there's a great website, you see the link there, and what you need to do, what I recommend you do, for each one of your 3 websites, put the URL into their into the search box, or where it says put the URL, click go, and it will basically produce a report on the website. You don't need to look at all the report. It's a long and detailed report, and it's a great feature. There's a lot of these websites, but go down to section D and it will tell you the page load speeds, and you can see this website in particular is above 4 seconds. All page content loaded over 4 seconds, so it's not getting a particularly good score. You could do that for each one of your 3 websites to show that you've understood and analyzed it using that particular tool. It's very useful. Finally, accuracy is an important thing. Early on we talked about language in terms of grammar and spelling, but this is slightly different. This is where if you're talking about cars, you need to be coming from a position of expertise. So this is where you need to do your research. You need to make sure that you've got good facts and figures and data, and correct facts and figures and data as well. Because if people see there's something there that doesn't sound right, then you'll lose the trust and confidence. Speed of response. We talked about actual page load speed, but there's also this idea of good customer service. If people have got an issue, they want a question answered, how quickly will they get a response? At the footer on most websites, you'll see that there's a contact us area, but nowadays the best speed of response feature on a website is live chat. So when you're doing your analysis, see if they have live chat and make a comment. If they don't, write, they don't have live chat, so it's difficult for them to engage with their customers. The other thing as well, of course, is links to social media as well. People like to contact the company through Facebook as well. If they've got that set up, then that's an improvement in terms of speed of response. Finally, privacy. Go to their terms and conditions. This is down at the footer. They might have a link as well about privacy. What they, they'll make promises about not sharing your information if you do join or whatever. Take a look at that. Just see if there's a privacy setting when you look at the website. So that's what you need to do. Just use that template and go through the free websites. Remember, this is P2, so you don't need to write a great deal for each website. You're talking about 3 to 4, maybe 500 words. So let's say 150 words per website wouldn't be a bad thing, really. Maybe more. Yeah, maybe more if you want to do a little bit more of a deeper analysis. And that's it, really. Get it done, get it uploaded, and we can then move on to P3. Any questions, any difficulties, then contact me directly through Teams, either on the open group chat, or if you want to message me privately, then that's fine as well. Okay, bye for now.